And we are live. Oh, Bev, I was going to play our intro, but I'm not going to do that. Hello, everybody.
Hey,
Welcome.
everybody.
Bev, thanks for coming on today.
Thanks for having me on, Linda.
Yeah, it's been a minute, hasn't it?
It has, but it's been busy. I'm sure everybody else has been quite busy too. It seems like things have accelerated a lot.
Yes. And if there's any interference or slow playback or buffering, we've been experiencing a few technical difficulties. So just be forewarned. We are going to try to stabilize things right now, just bring our attentions in. Everybody take a quick, deep breath. We want to make sure we're channeling our higher selves and galactic selves only. Deep breath in, hold it, slowly breathe out. Do that again. Deep breath in, hold it, slowly breathe out. Just letting everything settle in for this broadcast. I'm excited, Bev. We haven't
There's a
been
lot.
here. Yeah, we haven't been on in a while. There has been a lot happening. There has been a lot for for all you guys who don't know already. My father crossed over on Father's Day, so I just want to give a nod to him. And he did reach his promotion 25 days after being in there, and I got a triple confirmation of dragonflies, which in the Native American tradition does symbolize that somebody's ancestor or relative or whoever has safely made it to the spirit realms. So, congratulations on your promotion, Dad. I love you, Pop, always and forever. Now, with that being said, there has been an awful lot of interesting stuff that people keep reporting on, like electrical things messing up, things appearing and disappearing, and seeing things. And Bev, I know you've had experiences yourself in this, and I really hope that you share when you feel it's appropriate. But if you don't, I'm going to prod you a little bit later to please share your light ship story.
I will do that, Linda.
Yay, thanks. All right, well, I'd like to welcome everybody who's here coming on. There, it may not be streaming live on Rumble, but I probably will make sure this gets up on my Rumble channel. So thank you all for being here. And I know the title of this is talking about the nodes of fate shift, and I think it's a Cancer new moon. There's a grand cardinal grand cross, and all of these things that Bev's going to get into. But I'll tell you what, Bev, what gets my attention the most is the nodes of fate. Like when it shifts, it just feels so destiny, doesn't it?
Yes, yes.
Yeah.
And with the nodes of fate, that's something. Everybody does astrology. There's the overall astrology. Then you have people who specialize in stuff. A lot of people do relationships, synastry charts, just different things. But this is what drew me to astrology was the nodes of fate. When I found out where those were in my chart and how I could work with them, that's how I got started down this whole astrology path because it's a it's a whole nother study on its own, just like eclipses. That's something you need to study solely, and then you kind of incorporate the rest of your knowledge into it. But it's definitely what you make your forte. And I love working with the north and south nodes because you're looking at what's my mission and purpose, what did I come in with the knowledge for, and that's two of the points I work with when I do my personal readings for people.
That's awesome. I didn't realize that I knew when you first came in, there was a couple of main chunks that you really specialized in. And I knew you did that for your readings, but I didn't know that's what got you actually into it and started.
Yes, that and I feel like working with those two and working with Chiron and working with the black moon in your chart is very important, and that's four of the things that I hone in. Plus Cheroklo, I've dove into that too because that's Chiron's wife and who helped him heal. So
Oh,
yeah, that's really what I concentrate in the chart. And then you look at how the other planets interact with those, and then that kind of tells the rest of the story.
nice. That's awesome. Rachel, thanks for joining us. Blessings to you as well. Blessings and love to everybody who's out there watching and hanging out with us tonight. Bev, this Nodes of Faith thing, there's just something about it. Like, I swear I can recall either a movie or some like chant, or it might be a childhood thing. It could have been something my dad used to say. I don't even know, but it's like, ooh, beware. And it was like the Ides of March was one thing, but there was something
Yes,
about the Nodes of Fate had something to do with like intensity. And if you're looking at us as a collective, where we are, the whole ascension journey, changing of one epoch to another, one age to another, like we're only not long, like 2 weeks away, I think, or less from the whole galactic spin, like the day out of time. What is it on
Yes,
the
July
25th?
25th.
Yeah,
Yep.
I mean, we're this is a new year for people that follow galactic time, which is more accurately spiral time instead of 13 moon calendar. Anyway, we can get into all that later. But Bev, tell us a little bit more about what's happening with the nodes of fate specifically, if that's or whatever's in order for your lineup,
Yeah,
because
I,
I can't
I
wait
was
to hear
going to
more.
kind of start with that and then kind of work the other things in around it. But the nodes of fate, um, they also coincide with the eclipses. So it takes about 18 months for the nodes of fate to go through a whole sign, and they move retrograde. So they start out at 30 degrees and work their way backwards, where the other planets go forward and then they have their retrogrades, they back up. But the nodes start back up. So we're going from the 0 degrees of Taurus into 29 Aries, and so they go backwards like that. So if you take things out like a year and a half's time and look at what's happened during those times, and you can see kind of what's in your chart from there. Like the last time that the nodes were in Aries and Libra was December of '04 until about July of '06. So kind of look back in your life and see the themes that came up during that time, because it kind of brings those around again. And the fact that all that we've been doing here with the nodes, um, coming back into Aries and then Libra, we're at the beginning of the astrological wheel with Aries. So it's taken everything that we've healed and that we've worked with, and now we're going into another sign. So we carry forward what we learned in Taurus and Scorpio, and now we're taking it into Aries. And I see this as major new beginnings, especially because the nodes are going into the cardinal signs. They're always beginners. So you have Aries and you have Libra. Those are two of the cardinal signs. And then you have Cancer and Capricorn, which are also. And you will see later on when I talk about the Grand Cross, all of it are in the cardinal signs, and that's new beginnings. And I think it couldn't be a more appropriate time for it than right now. I mean, with all the healing we've gone through, the last years, as everybody knows, has been pretty intense. And I think this is really going to kick off some more of those new beginnings. And it's looking at in Aries, it's it's your first experience of the world. It's how you see yourself. It's coming to know yourself being the first sign, and it's taking the positive expressions of Aries and using those to grow with. So we kind of went from Taurus, which is about what we value. Um, it's about the things we love. Uh, it's ruled by Venus, so it's also about relationships and all that. And Scorpio, you kind of dug into the depths of what's below the surface. So there was a lot of deep healing done during that time. Now we're moving into Aries and Libra, which gives you the polarities of that, which is me and who I identify and who's my authentic self, versus Libra, which is the house of relationships. And now, how can I
Hmm.
share myself and make the relationships equal? So we're stepping out of, the deep down stuff that we've healed, the things that we've revalued and kind of changed in our lives with that North Node being in Taurus. And now, okay, what's the new me that's coming forward? What's been changed, healed, and all that, and how can we take this forward?
You know, I have to say something. You're going to crack up. I just noticed some numbers as you're talking, and I wasn't going to do
Okay,
like much numerology with this, but is it okay if I jump in right here?
no, go ahead.
All right, because this is starting at 1 arc second, right? This is 0 degrees, 1 arc second, and this is coming from this way. So it's going clock with the north node, the south node's over here, right?
Right.
And they
Yes.
go in a clockwise direction because they go opposite of all the planets and all these other things. Well, if you look at this right at the beginning, like you were saying, look, you got an 1111 right here. Okay, that's
Yes, you
Jupiter in
do.
Taurus, right?
Yes.
Well,
Yes.
check this out now. Uranus, that's Uranus, right?
Where you at there?
22,
Yeah,
21.
that's Uranus.
Okay,
Mm-hmm.
22, 21. So he's an arc second short of, you got your master gateway, but now you have your
Yes.
master builder is 22. Well, look over here, which you'll get into, I'm sure, with the Grand Cross and all the sun and the moon. 1111, that's the seconds, but 6 6 doubled is 33, 33. So you got your master gateway, beginning. Here's the gateway, here's the builder, and here's the master teacher in the 6 6, disguised as the sun and the moon.
Wow. Wow. You picked that up quick. Yeah, because I don't always look. I'm just looking at the aspects as far as degrees. When you got the square, the opposition, and that. I haven't gotten into looking at the numbers like that, but that's amazing, Linda. Man, you picked that stuff out. You got the forte and the knack for that for sure.
Yeah. Well, thanks. I couldn't help it. It jumped out at me. I saw the 1111 earlier. I'm like, oh, that's in the seconds. But wait, the 33 doubled is the 66, which is right here. 24 and 24 is
Yes.
66.
Yes.
So
Wow.
we literally have all the embodiments of the mastership. And this is us taking mastership. It's starting at the beginning, even though it's Aries is like the very last one, as similar to what the 12th house would be for the planets, the last one. Because Aries goes from, the nodes go from the 12th house back to the first house, the not house, sign,
No,
not house.
they're coming from Taurus down there going up into Aries.
Right. And Aries, oh, okay. So the North Node, though, is coming, he's going clockwise, though, right?
I
So
know what you're
he's,
saying. So he's coming through Aries up there and going
which
into
is,
Pisces.
right. But he's got to go through Aries as like the complete part of it because that's number one. And
Right.
then he starts again with the last one, which is Pisces. So this is like the
Right.
last thing in the whole spin. Is that right?
Yes. From what I'm taking it, what you're saying, yeah. So yeah, it's moving that way rather than going forward. And okay, you got Aries, then you got Taurus, and you got Gemini. So no, it's going back. So all the things that we've had coming through healing there in Pisces, even that we've been through with that Neptune coming through, we're going to take the healed Aries and back it up and go into that 12th house, and then have the spiritual mastery at that point.
Mm, okay. The 12th house. That's what I was thinking. Is the 12th sign, 12th house.
Yeah,
But it's
Pisces is
reversed.
the 12th. You're right.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. This is incredible. This is
And looking
absolutely
at
incredible.
looking at this too, Linda, when you're looking at the so you got the North Node there at 0 Taurus, and it's going to back up. When we have that Grand Cross, what we're going to have is the North and South Node both at 29 degrees of the sign, and we're going to have Pluto and the Sun at 29 degrees opposite each other. It makes that cross, and 29 degrees are critical degrees, is what they call them. That's the point of mastery. So we have some big opportunities coming up for mastery.
Oh wow. Well,
A lot of
when does the grand cross happen? Like how quick does the north node take to get from where or is it going the other way?
it comes in later that afternoon, and we'll be feeling the effects clear through probably for at least until the 21st, 22nd is when it'll be exact in that. So we feel it coming in, but it goes to that 29 degrees over the period of the next couple of days after the new moon.
Oh wow. And that's tomorrow Tuesday, right?
Tomorrow. No, it's
Tomorrow.
tomorrow. Yeah,
Oh,
tomorrow
okay.
morning we have that. So we got a lot of stuff coming in to begin the week.
Oh wow. So all right. I know you got a lot more to talk about, but I was going to ask you a question like so
No, go ahead, please.
what should people what should they be aware of going through this period of how to handle their own personal energies because I know like things I'm going through and people that I speak to and stuff they're cleaning up personally like nobody wants to be like gaslit, nobody wants to be name called or it's like almost like the focus on good communications or something that requires balance or else goodbye. Like if you're not going to be balanced and
Yes.
whole and you're going to project shit or you're just going to be an asshole, no offense, but if that's how it's going to be, then you're just going to wind up by yourself away from where you want to be. So it's like you kind of have to come with the balance in mind. That's what I'm perceiving.
And it's coming into that balance Aries of self and Libra, as you know, relationships and people in our lives. So how can we share that energy in an equally balanced way? And that's what I think this has all been teaching us, going through the things that we have in the last few years.
Mm-hmm.
Is that
Wow.
is
Yeah.
that what you were asking me?
Yeah, because this also takes, you said this was 2004. Was that the last time the nodes were right here where they're at again? Was
Yes,
2004? Oh,
2004, and they stayed there from December of '04 up until I think it was July of '06. So kind of look at what was going on, patterns in your life, because it's the full turn around the wheel, and once it gets back there, all the energies that you've cleared up and healed and carried forward in new form. Now we're back here again. What's our next chapter, our next step going to be?
oh my God. That just sheds such a huge light because it's what were you doing in 2004? You know what I was doing? Oh, God. I
not a good time for me. We're gonna do it different this time.
Yeah, there you go. Well, that's the beauty of it being a spiral. You get a chance to
Yes,
jump onto that bottom rung and spiral up and then get your footing. You got to hang on for the whole first round. First time around, you got to hang on, but then you get
yes,
to put your foot on it once you get around one time of the spiral. Um,
exactly.
and it's funny because spirals can be anything from repeated poop loops from day to day, from week to
Yes.
week, the month, or cycle to cycle. In this case, 2004 till now, that's like 20 years almost. Okay, so what I was doing was I was making the decision that I was never going to be treated like a half a person again. And people weren't going to steal from me again. I was deciding, like, this is it. I was putting my foot down. I was drawing a
Good for
line in the
you.
sand. And I created my first store, Teach Peace. Well, no, it wasn't my first store online, but I created the first store for myself that nobody could take away from me. It was Teach Peace Designs. That's how it was birthed. Isn't that cool? It's
That
almost
is,
20 years.
and in Aries, think about it. You were stepping up and saying for yourself, no, I'm not going to do this anymore. And it's finding, you have the higher and lower expressions of Aries, and Aries can be impulsive and it's about me and whatever. But we've learned that balance of, okay, I will give you the respect, you give me the mutual respect, and I'm not going to tolerate certain things anymore. And that's what that's about. So here we go again.
Whew, here we go again. Where's
Yes.
this? Where's it go? Where's it spiraling? Like, if you guys want to know, like, jump on. Make sure you jump on if you're already on the spiral up. Jump on and go for a ride. See what happens. Just don't let go.
Yeah, definitely just work on that going higher because there's so much involved in this chart, So okay, we know we have the nodes shifting, into Aries and Libra. Now you also have the sun and the moon there in Cancer. Cancer is ruled by the moon, so if anybody's feeling extra emotional right now, that's probably why. It makes the moon in your chart more important during that time. So there's a lot of emotion, and Cancer represents home and family. So a lot of people have probably got things coming up from family, maybe past things that you're finally healing, or they're coming up for that final pass. You think you've healed them, but it's getting down to the heart of the matter, because when we have that grand cross and it's at the 29th degree of Cancer, that's the mastery. If you can master those emotional wounds and heal from those, we've got a lot of support for that right now with Neptune. Neptune's giving us support. Pluto is giving us support with Uranus. I mean, we've got a lot of positive things. And Neptune's also trying the sun and the moon during this new moon. So it's kind of like the process of here from the new moon up until the nodes change right afterwards, and then when we have that grand cross on Friday the 21st. So it's a process, and I tell you what, people are going to be testy. People are going to have not much patience, and a lot of it is because we're triggering people. They're triggering us because it's lessons that we're needing to finally finish up. Okay, we've had enough. How many more times do you want this plate served to you again, or are you going to finally do the healing? So it's deep emotional, and being in Cancer, Cancer is a lot of the things that we keep inside that we don't just talk to anybody about. It's those personal hurts and things that maybe others don't always see. So take time to go in and listen to yourself and think. Don't react. Just say, okay, what is this about? Is this really this person ticking me off? Or is this something that goes way back to my childhood with
Mm.
Cancer, and also with that North Node in Aries, the first sense of self? Is this from that? Or is it something that, okay, I needed to heal from then and it's being presented to me again? So all kinds of opportunities, not saying it's going to be easy because growth never is, but there's a lot of support here for it right now.
Wow. That's intense, everything you just said, too, because I wasn't even thinking about that with the family. But I keep seeing the 1111, and I keep seeing the master 33 is the master teacher. This is the
Yes.
master builder. This is the master gateway. But you also have an 1111 here. This is the master gate. The master teacher is going wants to come through the gateway. It's like
Okay.
personal gateway. Your own teacher wants to come through and speak to you from within. Think of yourself in the right relationship with yourself. I believe in the description box right now, if you go and look right now, I believe I wrote something about that in there, about the dualities and everything coming to balance with that. And it's literally the self in the right relationship with, and that with a small s, the ego, whatever you want to call it, personality, who you think you are now in this body. That identification is the small
Yes.
s, and the big
Yes.
s is what? Your higher self, your Christ self, your soul level frequencies, like whatever label you want to put it, totally fine. Just internal guidance, not some talk show on the outside, not some podcast, not us, not anybody you're talking to in your family. You know what I mean? That's
Right.
not where you want to get your information from. So like
Yes.
that's this right here is telling you you are the master within your own self, and the gateway is all found within. It's the balance and harmony of the divine feminine, divine masculine through the master teacher of yourself is
Yes.
ready to come in with this. It's
And
all the
that's
activation codes are there.
and it's opposing Pluto. Think about it. Pluto's saying, okay, nope, nope, you're going to do this responsibly. Because Pluto's back up there in those last degrees of Capricorn. And that's what we've been going through with that USA Pluto return. So it's
Hmm.
getting ready to go over that again. And Pluto's saying, okay, we can have the new beginnings, but do you really want to go here again? Do you
Hmm.
really want the same lesson brought back to you? So again, you just, with that Cancer and the sun and moon being there with the new moon, it's about going inside and really digging deep. Take the time, take a lot of time to meditate and just journal. It's a very creative time right now, with Jupiter and Taurus there. Use the creativity and just see what you can tap into and see where it takes you. But just be still and listen. I can hear my mother saying that to me. She always used to tell me, just be still and listen. The answers are inside. And I just look at her.
Yeah. Well, we all do
Yeah,
when we're kids. We're kind of like, well, I don't get it. Did you see the numbers for Pluto?
2914.
So 11 and 14 is 7, 7. 7
Okay.
plus 7.
All right.
I
All
just
right.
I'm making, or it could be a 5. Yes, it could be a 5. But also we have the 11, 11 here. It's a triple 11, 11, 11, 11, 11. So that's saying, yeah, it's personal. It's personal, all right, through number
Well,
speak. Fifth
then
dimensional
think of
energies, you're grounding that.
and think about it all being at 29 degrees in that grand cross. There's a
Oh,
triple 11 or
wow.
quadruple. Yeah, there's 4 11s and all new beginnings at with that 29 degrees. It's digging up the past, stopping what doesn't need to go forward. Yeah, that makes perfect sense, Linda.
So wait, is it a 29 degrees first and then it goes see, this chart is for when I'm looking at the one here. This is for the new moon, but is the grand
This
cross
is
right before it at 29 degrees? Is that what you're saying?
No, it's right after it. It's
Oh, right.
later on in the day that North Node will go to 29 of Aries.
Oh, I get it. Okay, that's when it's going backwards. So, all right. So it counts from like it just came out of Taurus here is 29 degrees down to 1, where it's at
Yes,
here.
to the
And then
zero.
29 degrees Aries is right after the new moon. All right. Thank you
Right.
for explaining that. I appreciate
No
that.
problem. And that sun and moon, I think, shifts actually to the 29 on Friday. So that's when it does the Grand Cross. So we're feeling the energies coming in, but the sun won't move to that 29-degree until Friday. So it's in effect all week, and you'll probably feel it for a few days after that 21st too. Sometimes that'll last for a couple weeks.
Oh my goodness. I can't believe all those 29s. That's crazy.
It is, and being it's that mastery degree, and it's karmic endings too. It's Pluto is going to dissolve away those things that no longer resonate, and that really takes some deep digging inside and just really looking at things. And it's not always easy. But with the lessons, you look back later and you go, look at the growth that I got with that. Man, it was painful as hell, but look at how far I've come, and look at how I can spot things now and
Mm.
head it off at the pass where it gets out of control, because you've learned those lessons and now you can look at it.
You've progressed through the personal gateways as the master teacher now because you were the master builder, master teacher. It's just like it's all coming together. And one thing I know you were going to mention too, and it's not on the chart because we can't figure out how to put it on the chart yet, right? Is
Yes.
Chiron, because there's some kind of healing or something that you were saying after this grand cross of all these things that are going to come up. It's almost like it feels like it's everything's exposed full on. Now what?
Oh,
Right?
okay. And thank you for bringing up that Chiron, because Chiron's right at 20 degrees of Aries, and Chiron's getting ready to go retrograde. So okay, we've got the new moon coming in. That's tomorrow. Then we have the nodes of fate shifting. On Friday we have that grand cross, but in the meantime, okay, the day before the grand cross we have Eris station retrograde. the next 2 days later, Venus stations retrograde, and then the next day, Chiron stations retrograde. So look at all that. Look at that reviewing that we're going to be going through. You're dealing with Venus is my values, my possessions, what is valuable to me. You've got Chiron, the wounded healer, and that Chiron. I like Chiron because Chiron can either do one or two things. You can do the healing, and you can be teaching people how to heal, or you can be the wounded healer and walk around wounding people. So which do you want to prefer? Heal that so you can be of service and do the teaching. And that's been a big lesson. Chiron stays in Aries longer than any of the other signs, so I think that's been a big part of the cycle that we've been going through the last couple of years too. Is that Chiron in Aries?
Hmm. Yeah, it's been intense, and I don't think some people can see it too. And other, they see it, but they see it when the time is right. So we are not to judge when people's time is. We just
Right.
kindly remind them to, step off when they've crossed the boundaries, or if they're trying to project stuff at you, that's actually their stuff to work out. Because even though we're going as
Yes.
a collective, every individual goes with their, you know, their only bag or their only body or whatever they're taking with them energy wise, their luggage, their light, their whatever. Every person is just going with themselves. So everybody has to do their own work. I was saying to somebody today, I was just saying something like, you know, when you're trying to like go catch a plane, or you think of catching a spaceship or catching something, you're bringing all first you come up with this fifth wheel, and you have to leave that behind because you can't bring that where you're going, and then you have to leave your truck behind, and then
Yes.
you have to take your coat off, and you're carrying bags and backpack. You have to just start leaving stuff behind that's weighing you down,
Yeah.
and that's for every person to do. And if you try to take somebody else's backpack off and say, trust me, it'll feel better, instead of carrying those rocks,
Yeah. You
they
can't do
don't
that.
they can't, they have to like get frozen and take a timeout or go back to start or whatever the last checkpoint was. So you don't do anybody a favor by doing it for them. I don't
No,
think that
you
that's
don't. And that's what I think is so good about astrology too. You know, if you learn your chart and you could look at different things, I mean, you don't have to be an astrologer to do it. Just kind of find out some of the basics. And that's why I like to look at Chiron in people's charts because, okay, here's what I'm seeing in your chart, and this is what the higher expressions are with the aspects that you have in your chart. So yeah, we're feeling this as a collective. So it kind of goes back to the Aries and Libra. Aries is about the individual. Libra is about how do we work together. So there, that goes hand in hand too.
Yeah, it does. There's a lot of things that are like, I think we're going to discover, like you and I were talking about the other day, about how astrology has more to it, like as it spirals up, our understanding of it, like Ophiuchias. I've heard people say
Yes.
Opha Opha, I forget. There's another pronunciation, but there's several pronunciations out there. But basically, it's the 13th sign in astrology. So to see a whole thing like that evolve, just to get to the point where people take this as a serious um, body to study, how they used to use the stars to travel the seas and everything. I mean, there's something to it, and most of you watching here now, by the way, thank you for joining us. If you're here live tonight, I know it's been a minute since we've been on, but thank you for being here. We appreciate you guys. Betty and Biscuit and Rachel, how you guys doing? How you doing? How's
Hey,
everybody
everybody.
doing? Yes. Now I know, Bev, you can't see the comments yet, but I think Streamyard's going to be fixing something where guests are going to be able to read the comments and also stream to your channels too if you have one, or be able to sign in so you can comment like right from your phone or wherever you're as a guest from. So I think that's a new feature that's
Oh,
going to be added, which is cool.
nice.
Yeah.
Nice. Yeah, because it's hard. I just kind of let you do the comments and tell me if there's something because, yeah, I can't see them yet, but it's all good.
Yes, but it'll be great when everybody's able to do too, because like I am so bad at getting there. Like I'm looking at this chart, I cannot see any of the comments. I have to come over here and look, and I don't want to like be rude and not say hi to everybody because it's great. You guys are joining us here. It's like we're all sitting
Yes.
at a campfire, but Bev and I are just totally dominating the conversation. So
And
sorry
that's
about
it. And that
that.
says a lot for me because I'm usually quiet. I actually am until I get started, and then yeah, look out. But um, there's just so much in this chart right now. And you're
Here's
looking at everything in retrograde too. We've got Neptune's retrograde, Saturn's in retrograde,
mm,
and then we have the personal planets all getting ready to go retrograde. We have Venus. Chiron and Eris getting ready to go retrograde. So there's a lot going on right now. When I sat down and looked at all this, it just kind of blew me away. There's so much involved, but really, I just think it comes down to just really taking some deep looks inside and just seeing where you're at, to seeing those next chapters, and trusting your intuition and spirit, because you go back to that moon and sun there in Cancer. It's all
Yeah.
about the new beginnings, and it's feeling things from an intuitive level, while it's talking to Pluto opposing it, saying, okay, do this, but find out a way to do it and be responsible. Don't walk around being the wounded person who's wounding everybody else. How can you turn this around?
Mm.
How can you join forces, and how can we all work together for, to create what it is we want to create? But let's make sure that the relationships are equal, that there's both give and take, and that it's not all one-sided.
Oh, I like that. That's beautiful. It ties right in with the whole theme of balance. Everything where the nodes of fate are moving into. It's all
It's
about
it's all
it's
about balance.
reciprocation, balance, just equalizing, give and take. Like a comment here from Biscuit. I put this up so you could see it too. I honestly think if people knew each other's birth charts and understood it, it would make things much easier to know the other person.
It's
Yes.
spot on, spot
Hmm.
on.
I have to
Because
agree with that.
once you know what you're dealing with, because somebody has certain things in their chart, you look at what their lessons are, or what this planet is working on with another planet and aspects, and it makes it easier to understand. It's kind of like knowing just makes it easier, whether it's knowing what's in your chart or knowing what somebody else is dealing with. Yeah, it being aware makes you to be able to not react, but be able to, come from a different point instead of just the reaction.
Yes. And that takes growth and time and experience, and anybody who says like they got it all figured out, like, oh yeah, I can tell this person's like that because I'm a psychic or I'm a sensitive. I can see it in them. Well, a lot of times psychics and sensitives that brag about things like that actually are reading their own stuff. They're projecting their own stuff, and a lot of people do it to other people anyway. They project their own stuff to somebody else because it's hard to work on something on the inside if you've never done it. So
Yes.
they're trying to work out their stuff, but it's almost like nobody wants to deal with anybody else's vomit at this point. you know,
That's you
there's no
put
other
it
way to put
well,
it.
Linda. You put it well. I like that. Yeah, because I'll tell you what, in this next week there could be a lot of vomit flying around out there. That's all I'm gonna say.
Oh
Just
God. And
yeah.
I hate to put it like that because we've come from this place where we always hold space for people and blah blah blah, and light workers were always so good and kind and compassionate and loving and forgiving, and yada yada yada. I've also heard people tell me to my face years ago that I couldn't be trusted because I was too happy. I was like, happy people can't be trusted? Huh?
Yeah,
Like,
wait a minute. Wait a minute.
I laugh at that now because it's kind of like, oh, I'll take being happy any day over carrying misery all day long, because being happy is also going to draw a lot of shit to you anyway that you eventually need for your growth. And you don't
Right.
see that till after you've gone through the wilderness and the desert and the jungle. You got to go through it to get out the other side to be able to say what you went through.
Yeah, and to be able to, you can empathize with somebody as much as you can, but I tell you, until you've actually been in a situation, you can never say what you would do. It,
Yeah.
and you got to think, this person that I'm dealing with today, they may have some shit going on that I don't know what's up. They may be really
Yes.
hurting, and you can't always see it. There's that Cancer, the internalizing the emotions in that. So you've got to give everybody the leeway and just try not to step on toes and realize, we're all really digging deep right now, and see if that person really meant it. Don't take it the wrong way. Ask questions. Say, hey, you know what? That really bothered me. Did you mean it that way, or did I take it the wrong way? So it's a lot of communications right now too.
Well, I got a question here for you. First, Biscuit Barrel says almost 2 o'clock in the UK, so they have to go to bed. Thank you for being here, Biscuit. Nice
Yes,
talking to
thank
you.
you.
We appreciate your energy and your love and all of that. So just feel free to come on back anytime. And Rachel, we got a question from Rachel. I put it up on here so you can read it, and now I can't read it. No, there it is.
Okay,
Where's
I
the
see.
best? Okay, good. Where's the best place to start for a total beginner with my chart? But I understand the astrological signs fairly well. Oh, good question, Rachel. Bev?
I tell you where I started. You can buy classes, you can do different things, but there's a lot of free content out there, and I recommend Molly McCord to a lot of people. She's got some really good teaching videos. And if you go into her playlist and stuff, it breaks it down looking at your pretty much where you want to start is your sun and your moon and your rising sign. Those are the three most to understand. And then start kind of learning about the planets a little bit and then going on to aspects. But Molly kind of walks you through that beginning part. And it's a lot. So don't be intimidated at first. If it's a lot of information, just take your time and it opens up as you go. But I really recommend starting with some of her free stuff there on YouTube.
Yep, and also there's websites like astrology.com, and then there's Cafe Astrology that you
Cafe
sent me
Astrology.
to when you want to start doing your charts. But like Molly has a lot of stuff that you can learn. Like she has a podcast every Monday and Wednesday, and the courses probably would help, and they're very reasonable, like Bev was saying.
Yes.
And Bev, if you're looking for a chart and a reading and you want to start with Bev, she's all the links are in the description. Just send her an email and she'll get you going. She
Yes.
will totally take care of you if there's something you want to learn or you want more like a more in-depth session with her. I know Bev will help you out. So yes, thanks for asking that, Rachel.
Yes.
Now,
Thanks.
now Bev, let's get back to business in the sky here because it's affecting people. You had some interesting comments to say about people are going to be flinging stuff around next week and everything. Do you feel like this is something that's going to be a quick tornado going through, or do you feel like this is going to be like a longer kind of pull, just judging from
Mm,
planets being in retrograde for so long? Like, I keep getting this whole thing like we just got to get through this whole year into the springtime. Like, I know people don't want to hear that, but I just feel
no,
like next year might be a little better in the springtime. But I
I
still feel
think,
like that shit's got to get worse like before it gets better.
but I think that where we're at with the Cardinal Grand Cross is its new beginning. So all this stuff that's been dug up, the last of it's being dug up, and now we're moving forward. Now it's
Yeah,
coming up with solutions and how we're going to take things from there. This is where, going into the Aries Libra polarity and the balance between the two. So now, okay, how has this affected humanity as a whole? Now, what can we do going forward? And that's where those of us who've done the work and the healing can say, okay, this is where I want to. So it's kind of like getting next steps into place and finding out
yeah,
solutions. Um, I don't know. It just depends on the person, It's going to be some tense
yeah.
energies, but just know, work with your own before you can help anybody else, and just know that we're in for some big changes here over the next I'd say 9 months or so.
Yeah,
That's just my feeling until the beginning of next year. We've got some major
but
changes coming up.
now that doesn't mean to say if it's going to get worse before it gets better. That doesn't mean to be like a doom and gloom kind of thing. That's like maybe
No,
overall collective, like looking down from the 40,000. But each individual life and each individual person can certainly spiral up and take these things. Like, isn't there benefits and trines and things like Venus and Jupiter expanding blessings and all these good things that are coming? Like, I don't know.
yes.
What do you see? What do you see for that going on? Just over the next short period of time, week
Well,
or so.
we've got Venus going retrograde, like I said, on the 22nd, and it's going to be
Yeah,
in retrograde until September 3rd. And while Venus is retrograde, they always say don't make any big financial decisions.
yeah,
A lot of relationships that are starting during Venus retrograde don't last for the long term. It's pretty much coming back into. I think that's going to be a big reevaluation time for us as far as internal things and things that we're working on. And I think going through that Venus retrograde is going to be a big step to the healing. And again, it goes forward there the 3rd of September. So I think
okay,
between now and September, we've got a lot of other things happening. We'll have another eclipse coming in. I think that's in August. I'll have to look. Don't quote me on that. But I think it's just kind of like it's the cycle process. Because remembering back to talking about the nodes and all that. So we have that North Node going to be sitting at 29 Aries. Remember, we had that eclipse come in at 29 Aries back in April. So it initiated some things. So here's the next step
ah,
in this. So it's like getting the next step in the map. That's kind of how I'm looking at this. Okay, we've been given
yeah.
these things. Things have been brought in. We're working with it. We're healing more. It's just kind of finding your way through this.
And every time it spirals up, you get another layer to the map, like the eclipses. Like next
Yes,
April is another eclipse that's going to crisscross right across the one that,
yes.
like the, and that'll be another step to the map. Oh God, it's crazy.
Because you have those eclipses at that point, and those coincide with the north node. Then after that, you'll have Mars will go over that point, that activates that eclipse point. Then you'll have Venus and a different planet, so it gets activated at different times. So there's like a cycle within cycles within cycles, and that's why studying the eclipses and different things, it's a forte and a especially all into its own. Because man, with astrology, you can go down so many rabbit holes and you'll just get to the end of one and something else will jump out at you. So, yeah, astrology is a cool thing. I learn something new every day.
Yeah, I'm really glad we're doing this too because it teaches me every time I do another broadcast with you on this. You're teaching me, and I hope you put together a class when you feel called to do that because there's people that I'm sure we know already would take it, but I'm sure they would
Yes.
learn something from it. And yeah, you just got a wealth of knowledge in there. I'm just very grateful that you're here sharing it with everybody.
Oh,
Thank you.
thank you. I appreciate being on here because I know it's a tough time for everybody right now, and that's pretty why I come on. Pretty much why I come on here and do this. Know you're not alone. Know if you're struggling, it's okay. We're all going through these growing pains. It's
Yeah.
it's been a hell of a couple of years. I mean, we all know that since 2019 and 2020. It's been a big process. I mean, even look at where you were 2 3 years ago. I look back and it seems like it's been 50 years ago.
It's a lifetime ago. Oh my God.
Yes,
Right. Just when COVID started, like pre-COVID or post-COVID, what were you doing when it started? And it was like, it feels like many lifetimes ago. It's so crazy.
it does.
Yeah. I remember seeing one night, because I remember where I was living at that time before I had left and then started the whole westward journey. And I remember having a flash of light that woke me up. Like when you're sleeping or you're just barely sleeping and there's a thunderstorm and then the lightning makes your eyelids kind of open right away and you're like, whoa, Well, it
Yes.
was like a flash of light like that drove my eyelids open and it made me kind of sit up like, wow. And then I got up and ran over to my window and looked outside. And right as I did, I was saying, if this was for me, show me again. I literally said that. And then boom, another flash, like a lightning almost, but then it was green and purple, like the northern lights right out my window. I could
Wow.
see but it was like from a lightning and it spread across the sky. Like I know what the northern lights would look like, and I've never seen a video of them. Like I've seen pictures, but I've never seen like what, but I know what it would look like because I saw them in Exton, Pennsylvania. Like what?
Wow. Wow. Hey,
So
they've been seeing them further down, but that's cool that you got up and went and looked. Because, see, I had that same experience with blackout curtains and shades down. This big old bright light came through. I was too tired to get up. I was in the middle of moving out of the house of my parents and selling it and stuff. I was too tired to get up and look. And you know what? I've never had that happen again to go check it out. Because I thought when you told me about that, I thought it was so cool. I should have gotten up.
oh my God. Well, see, maybe that was it too. But you just had something recently, didn't you? Can you share that? Would you mind sharing that one
Yeah.
now? That would be great. Because oh, hey, Amy, how you doing? Welcome to the
Hey,
stream. Um, so yeah, tell everybody what you
I
got in
was
the office.
standing just looking out the door the other, and it was Friday night, and I was just looking up at the stars, picking out the satellites because I know where everything's at. I go look out there a lot, and all of a sudden, it happened so fast. It was just this big. It was a big like ball of light, and as it bounced down, it came out of nowhere, and it like went through the trees, but you couldn't see the trees. It hit the ground, and at that point, it was like a pyramid shape, and then it bounced up to the left, just like a V when it hit and went back up. And I'm telling you, it stunned me so bad. Um, Diane saw my face after it happened, and she's like, "Oh my God, you look like you saw a ghost!" And it happened so fast, and it was so cool that yeah, it just stunned me. And I don't know, something's just felt different since then. But yeah, I don't know
Mm.
exactly what happened, but it was one heck of an experience.
Well, Bev, that's the same area where it bounced down off the ground that tree fell down outside of your house, right? Literally right
Yeah,
down in that
it's
grass
out
area.
there in that same place. Yeah.
I think I don't know. What do you think? What do you think it was? If you had to speculate.
If I had to speculate, I think it was some kind of. It was either maybe some disclosure or maybe just some energy. or downloads coming in, and they just wanted me to see it. I don't know.
Do you think it was a person, like a being is traveling in their light ship, maybe? Like their
Could have
light
been,
body?
I didn't even think about that, Linda, because it stunned me so bad. And it happened. I mean, we talk about split second, it was split second. So I've had to stop and focus back in trying to bring bits and pieces of it. But that's about all
Oh,
I've gotten so far.
it's incredible. It's a wonderful story. I'm really glad you shared it too.
Oh, no problem. Yeah, it was quite it shook me up, but it wasn't in a bad way. It was just, wow, did I really just see that?
You did. You did. Don't doubt yourself, especially if you watch the way the points said, they kind of bounced off one
Yes.
side and turned over and it went up. And that's, don't doubt yourself. Don't doubt yourself.
Yeah, it
Pillow
was really
Man.
cool.
What's up, Pillow Man? Welcome to the stream.
Welcome.
Pillow Man. I wonder if that's Corey. Maybe. Maybe not. I don't know. Anyway, sis, what else? We got more experiences too. There's other things that are happening. I don't know if we can get into all of that now on the live, but
There's a lot going on, but just I'm kind of just looking through some of the things for the week. Like uh, tomorrow, during, like I said, that new moon, you're going to have Mercury square Jupiter. People may be really opinionated and vocal under this influence. Words are used for dramatic effects, so be careful how you use them. Um, then we have just all throughout the week. There's different. Mars is doing something with Chiron on Tuesday. It's a perfectionism or criticism can aggravate old self doubts today, triggering angry exchanges. There we go. Um,
no, we
it's
don't.
kind of happening all week.
Oh, it's really?
Yes.
Oh no.
And you got Mars opposing Saturn on Thursday. People being demanding, critical. If plans change, people can get really upset. And then on Friday, you got Sun squaring the nodes. So, I mean, it's a powerful week, a very powerful week. So just tread lightly.
Can we just
Work on yourself.
do you know how you forget what you had for dinner yesterday sometimes, like how everything's moving so
Yes,
fast? Can we just hit the fast forward button and just kind of scooch on through this week?
I would like to, because I just had glanced at the astrology, and when I started really digging into it, it's like, oh my gosh, I didn't realize this week was this big.
Wow.
I don't like to look too far ahead, and then sometimes I'll just walk away for a little bit. I had a period there. I just walked away from all media, anything going on, and I just kind of vegged on the couch. I had to. I just needed to rest for a while, and I'm not good at resting, so it was a little difficult. But
Yeah. But you needed
sometimes you
it.
just got to take a break.
Yeah, you do. You have to detox when you need to. You got to listen to your body if it needs a rest and not feel guilty. I mean, there's days where you might want to rest, but you're just not going to. It's
Yeah,
better to just honor the flow. But I took myself off Facebook. So if anybody's looking for me over on Facebook, you're not blocked or anything like that. Bev is actually running the Holy Bird Tribe for me while I'm gone in that group. And I literally deactivated and deleted the app and everything. I'm taking a real break. I'm not just not posting, taking a break. Like I need to just cut all ties for a little while there. And and it has to do with more of the corporation and me than anything else. You know what I mean? It's just I'm pulling myself out of there because I'm trying to really be accountable for all of my energy right now. And so I've been putting a lot of effort into my website. I've been doing a lot of work on projects for humanity, and I've put a couple things out. You guys know if you've seen this before in the description box. There's ascension maps. It's a gift for humanity that anybody can take as like wisdom teachings or foundational and wisdom teachings for the galactic communities and the greater galactic communities, higher dimensional frequency stuff. And like you don't have to understand everything I say to pick up nuggets, but it's free. If you ever want to check it out, just use it. You don't have to make a
a lot
donation
of
to
good
go through
info.
the online journey. Yeah, thanks, Bev. And yeah, I started a quantum library too, so that's also available. That's kind of new, but I'm just dumping a lot of stuff in there, and spirit's showing me how to honor myself. Not to just give everything away for free, but I still want to give away gifts. And just some of the things I'm giving away alone are pretty comprehensive, I think. So like it's the gift that keeps giving, if that's interesting to you. And if not, that's okay too. But you can't find me on Facebook right now. So if you're looking for me, you're just gonna have to see me here or over on Rumble. Linda Light, same name. And Bev, what else? Is there any other final like wrap ups or anything you want to talk about before we head out?
I was just looking at that Mars. Mars just went into Virgo, and Virgo represents service. It represents what we do on a daily basis, how we take care of our energy, what we eat. So kind of be careful with your energy right now. Make sure you're getting that downtime. Drink lots of water. Listen to your body. If your body says you need rest, do. Because with Mars being there and Virgo, Mars is like, hey, let's go. And it's like, no, you need to slow it down a little bit because it also has that connection to Pluto up there that you see. Um, Pluto is saying, "Hey, stop, Mars. Wait a minute. Look and make sure that what you're doing is what you want to do." So listen to your body and intuition a lot right now. That's a big, and Virgo is also about healing. So take the time, listen to your mind, body, and spirit. If you need to rest, rest. If you need to break, with all these energies coming in, it could be a time this week to just take some time to yourself when you get a chance, even a little bit every day, just to kind of take the time to pray, meditate, whatever it is you do. Because I know myself, I'll set up a routine and I'll do it every morning, let it go one day and don't do it. Next thing I know, 2 months later, I'm still not doing it. So
Oh,
take
I
the
feel you on
time
that
for
one.
yourself. Yeah, take the time for yourself. That's really just, yeah, walk very softly, be kind to yourself, listen to yourself, and just know these growing pains that we're going through are for a reason, and we are going to come out of this better. There's really a lot, I feel, coming positive ahead.
Yeah, I agree with you on that. I feel that very strongly. And by the way, Pillow Man is Jeanette. Sorry about that, Jeanette. She said
Okay.
my grandson changed the name again.
I didn't recognize the name. Okay, hey
Well,
Jeanette.
with Willow Pillow, I just figured Pillow Man would have been Corey.
Okay. All right.
And Amy's saying hydrate, rest, love, love self, let go of old habits and routines and habits that no longer serve you. Yes, really good advice, Amy. And that's like an ongoing process, I think, for everybody.
Yeah.
So, uh, let's see. I know you wanted to talk specifically about Venus because there's some major things that she's going through with the retrograde. So, if you still want to do that, Bev, we may be back with a special episode on that, not waiting for like a new
Yeah.
moon or full moon or an eclipse or something like that.
Yeah, that's
And
I feel it's a pretty big deal, and it's going to last, like I said, up until September. So I think some things that it would really help to be aware of on that, Linda, if you wanted to, that'd be great.
yeah, I think we should. And also, all of our past streams are now going to be over in the Quantum Library. So you can find that at Truth. And I don't have a little fancy little slide for this yet or anything, but truthisquantum.com.
Nice.
Yeah, it's still part of the Teach Peace Designs overall website, but the brand you can just type in truthisquantum.com and it'll take you right to the new quantum library. And all of our astrology is in there. There's things in the first space in there that's free, you guys. Free stuff like ascension maps or the activations from part 4 of the symposium. Just like sometimes you just need dessert before dinner, right?
Yes. Yes.
So yes, Spirit said it's time, release that for everybody. So that is released, that we did that from the symposium, and it's just so powerful, such a powerful thing. So go over there and get that for free. Truthisquantum.com, scroll down, you'll see gifts for humanity, and there's 2 things there: ascension maps and then this activation video. And it's yours. Just have it. Go, share it with everybody. It's You don't even have to sign up for it. Like just click play. That's all.
That's some
And
good stuff. There's a lot I still hadn't seen, Linda, because I was in astrology and listened to you a little bit. People come and go in your life at
yes,
different times. You find what you need right when you need it. And
you
there's a
always
lot
do.
there.
You do. And you know what? When birds of a feather flock together, we learn from each other. And then you get to a certain point where it's like you all have a mutual understanding because we're all like on the same playing field. So we need to
Yes.
go out and share with other people that are not in the same playing field, because how else would they get the message, the teachings, whatever? Like, there are people that are teaching and giving away teachings and not putting them behind expensive paywall gates. And with that being said, there is a one-time fee for the whole library. But I didn't want to like hide teachings behind a gate. I give away a lot of stuff. If you guys know me,
Yes.
you know how it is.
You
And
do.
Spirit finally talked me into saying, okay, just get one time $25 donation for their library card, and then you'll have a lifetime access to everything, and everything's going to keep going in there. So it's just going to keep getting bigger and bigger and bigger. and it's a vault, and if you want your access to it, then I invite you warmly
Yeah,
to
lots
go
in
over
there.
there and do that. And if you don't, you can still have, like I said before, you can still have those free gifts in the beginning just for checking it out. So please do go have a look. And I appreciate even just putting eyeballs on it, because maybe you'll find a typo that I have over there. You know what I mean? At the very least, feel free to share it if you're guided. And if not, Bev, I think we'll come back and do that Venus thing. Did you have a date in mind, like next weekend or the weekend after, somewhere in there?
I was
Or
gonna take a look and see when that full moon's coming in, and maybe fit it in between, or maybe do that with the Venus retrograde at the same time. I was going to take a look and just see what it entails. So within the next 2 weeks, at least, Linda, whenever you.
okay, yeah, that's great. And she's going to be in retrograde for 40 days and 40 nights, so that's kind of interesting. Just saying.
Yes, yes,
All right. Well, sounds good. We will be back again. We thank you so much for being here. We
yes.
appreciate you. We love you. We wish you the best always. And we'll see you next time. Bye.
Thanks. Bye.